So I guess how do you communicate within a business if, because marketing professionals or other BD professionals in law firms sitting there who will be listening to this show and think, yeah, this sounds great, Mike and Alex, but, how, what are some steps, I guess, that firms or legal tech can take? Is it just jump in and try, or get a strategy and then, iterate like you have?
Mike, I think that's a great question. I don't know why that is, that a lot of these folks think about marketing differently. For me, I can share, I think this podcast is going to be super helpful, because I'll share with you what's happened to me, which is, my content by this point gets 3 to 4 million views every month. And if you think about how much that costs to get from, Google Ads or something like that, you can calculate the value of it.
Yeah, yeah.
And, anecdotally, I can tell you, I went to a in-person networking event for the ACC last week in LA. I didn't know anybody there. And when I showed up, like, I think half the people recognized me and they looked at my name tag and they're like, what's Ironclad? Like, I don't know what that is. And so it just reflects that whatever content you put out there, people are watching and they will recognize what you're talking about, and they will learn about the company if you have someone kind of put themselves out there. And it will always be true until there's this moment right now where it's kind of fuzzy because there's no established metrics around it. In other words, it's not like, say, I put in $100 and I'll get $100 of business out of it. It's kind of amorphous, and that presents an opportunity because if it was proven out, then everyone else would do it. It would get bid up. Just look at what's happening to Google Ads right now.
Yeah.
They're becoming less effective as they're getting more expensive, because maybe in the early days they were really effective because most people were uncomfortable using it. But as people become more comfortable with a certain approach, it becomes saturated and less effective. The same is true for outbound emails. Like, think about, there's all these articles about how outbound emails for legal tech are getting really annoying and not effective. This is not an accident. This is not a coincidence. And so for these firms that are trying to get out there, whether it's a legal tech company or a firm trying to do something different, I would say, see if there's anybody who's willing on the team to experiment, and it doesn't have to be a grand, you don't have to allocate budget or hire some big name influencer. You can just have someone run an experiment, run a weekly podcast, put out some content on LinkedIn, very small percentage of their time, kind of what I did, when I first started out in legal tech, nobody told me to do this. I just did it because I wanted to, and I saw the value of it. And so I think I would encourage organizations to encourage their own people to start putting content out there. It doesn't have to be TikToks. It could be whatever medium you're comfortable with. But I think there's a real opportunity right now, and a lot of people are not taking advantage of it.